Thank you, Aaron.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We will be starting at about the minute after mark to ensure we capture our full audience. So please hang tight for the next 60 seconds, and we will begin today's webinar shortly. Thank you for attending today's webinar, Creating a Connected Mobile Workforce for Industry 4.0. Before we begin, there's just a few housekeeping items I would like to cover quickly. At the bottom of your screen, you'll notice a handful of widgets, mainly the Q&A widget, which you can utilize to submit any questions you have throughout today's webinar session. Our speaker will answer questions at the end of today's webinar, but feel free to submit throughout the session. Throughout today, our speakers will be asking a series of poll questions, and we encourage you all to participate. For viewing purposes, you can expand your window by clicking on the icon found on the top right corner of the slide viewer. If you have any technical difficulties, please click on the Help widget. Lastly, do take a moment to fill out the survey at the close of the webinar. And with that, I'll turn it over to your first presenter today, Lloyd Johnson. Thank you and enjoy.
Thank you, Aaron. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today. We welcome you to today's session, Creating a Connected Mobile Workspace for Industry 4.0. I'd like to introduce you today to the presenters. My name is Lloyd Johnson, and I lead the manufacturing vertical sales team for Samsung Electronics B2B organization. I have over 20 years in the telecom and mobility space, working in both wireless and with independent software vendors. Joining me today, I have Kevin Eaton, who leads the business development effort at Samsung Electronics America for manufacturing. He too has over 20 years in a mobility space, working for both wireless carriers and IT resellers. Lastly, please welcome Valentine Abagwe. Valentine is the enterprise software PM at Samsung and looks after the frontline centered Knox products and services that make it easier for our customers to adapt and scale the Samsung ecosystem. Before we begin, I just want to remind everyone that we will have a recorded version of the webinar that will be available on the Insights website. We would like to keep this very interactive, so please answer our poll questions as we move through the presentation. And please ask your questions in chat if you wish to join our discussion. All right, let's get started. At the forefront of mobility technology, Samsung's commitment to quality and constant innovation has been a driving force within many markets for nearly 3 decades. As you notice this slide, we have a relentless innovation and discovery that's enabled us to transform the world's greatest products, many of which you probably are familiar with and potentially have and are using today. Televisions, smartphones, personal computers, printers, home appliances, LTE systems, medical devices, and even semiconductors. Again, many of which you're likely familiar with throughout your day-to-day life. As a true global company, we have 7 research and manufacturing facilities around the world where we produce over 450 million devices annually. We not only talk the talk, but we walk the walk when it comes to manufacturing. I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Eaton to talk about Industry 4.0 and take you through the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Lloyd, and thank you all for joining today. Industry 4.0 requires manufacturers to fundamentally rethink how they operate. According to a study by Plex as of this year, only 24% of manufacturers have implemented digital transformation programs beyond pilot stages. This group is leveraging a range of emerging technologies to increase productivity and drive revenue, including industrial Internet of Things, from embedded machines, access to cloud and hybrid computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and augmented reality. The ability to harness these technologies begins with mobility. Since mobile devices are the gateway to Industry 4.0, companies still working from legacy desktop computers or green screen terminals are reading the writing on the wall. Move to mobility or risk irrelevance. Embracing mobile devices comes with a particular challenge, however. How can organizations transition to a mobile-first computing strategy without disrupting productivity? Mobile helps keep a pulse on manufacturing while digitally enabling the frontline workforce. Some examples are provided on the slide, and we will be discussing them more throughout this webinar. Mobile technology is the key enabler of modernization in both plant floor and field service operations. Smartphones and tablets are the conduits that connect staff to the applications that run the business and distribute intelligence and insights on the production floor or in the field. Cloud-based apps and analysis put the smart in smart factories, and mobile devices consolidate that intelligence in one platform that any employee can use with minimal training. Samsung's suite of hardware and software products are built on an open ecosystem using Android and Tizen. We continue to innovate to push the art of what's possible with unmatched security and management built from the hardware layer up as we manufacture our devices all the way through the process, from design to final product. The Samsung portfolio of rugged mobile devices elevates the capability of every team member, enabling them to perform multiple tasks on tough phones and tablets that are made to stand up to real-world challenges. The portfolio of products are built with military standard and IP68 rating, giving them resistance to dust, dirt, sand, and water. Further, these devices can be used with gloved hands, have replaceable batteries, and pogo pin charging, all allowing your field team to work at optimal productivity levels. Today's Samsung rugged portfolio includes an 8 and 10-inch form factor, wearables, and rugged smartphones. I'm going to turn it over now to Lloyd for our first poll question.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. So to our participants, you can see the question here. I'll read it aloud. If you would, pick one of the choices that we've provided and hit submit. We will be gathering these poll questions as we go through the presentation. What is the status of your company's Industry 4.0 smart factoring and/or industrial transformation program? Are you currently implemented? Are you in the pilot stages? Budgeted 1 year? Planned out 3 years? Or really hadn't gotten started, no plans? I'll give everyone just a moment to choose your choices, and then we'll review the results momentarily. Let's take a look at the results, Kevin. All right, about 12% says that currently implemented. 25% is kicking the tires in some pilot stages, looking at different resources and solutions that are available. We've got about 12.5% budgeted. There's some planning going on at 25%, and then an equal 25% that have no plans. Well, I can tell you, this is the call that you definitely want to make sure you're in attendance for. We'll be talking about how not only Samsung, but strategic solutions that are available that we'll be discussing can not only help in your planning, your budgeting, as well as your pilot stages, or if you're currently implemented, just give you some additional thoughts on how to expand and continue to make that solution even better. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks, Lloyd. As a reminder, please ask any questions in chat if you wish to join our discussion. Our first journey will take us to a view of a mobilized field service operation. According to a recent study conducted by Salesforce, 80% of customers say that the experience a company provides is as important as its products and services. As we see, the nature of field service is changing as technology is becoming more complex and customer expectations more demanding. At the same time, companies are looking to maximize efficiencies through more strategic distribution of talent. This places significant pressure on field service workers to get things done right the first time. Mobility is the ultimate tool for the empowerment of field service workers because it grants connectivity. Using mobile devices, field service workers can access a larger database of knowledge and lean on experts to fill in the gaps. Additionally, field service connectivity improves productivity by enabling a variety of functions such as inventory management, invoicing, and work order sign-off while on the road. Whereas most aspects of field service work will require rugged mobile devices for connectivity, certain industries such as oil and gas and construction qualify as hazardous operating environments. Dust particles, chemical leaks, or sudden jolts of electricity could affect the devices used in these field service areas. The primary driver is that the mobile tablet or phone should not create an electric spark large enough to produce a fire. Several large petrochemical companies have partnered with Samsung to provide intrinsically safe tablets to use in these hazardous environments while utilizing the same non-intrinsically safe device outside these hazardous environments. As we move clockwise on the dollhouse or infographic, Remote Expert and Repair Assist using augmented reality or AR allows field workers to lean in on a larger knowledge bank beyond their own expertise. Using a Samsung rugged tablet or phone, video streaming applications and AR are tools where field workers can lean on that larger knowledge bank or collaborate with the remote expert. As our country grapples with the second wave of COVID-19 restrictions, the need to have expert assistance available to help lesser experienced field tech increases, especially as travel shrinks. Diebold wanted mobile collaboration to enable newer technicians to access the expertise of experienced team members in real time. By implementing Samsung tablets utilizing AR software, it reduced in-field mentoring by 33% and saw an ROI of over 250% in just the first year. As I mentioned earlier, most Samsung rugged devices come with a programmable button which can be used for push-to-talk functionality, which gives field workers a familiar walkie-talkie experience. One large manufacturing company with a robust field service organization has set up the Samsung Xcover Pro smartphones with Microsoft Teams to instantly connect their office team with their field staff. This allows for instant access to critical information and collaboration with work groups scattered all across the globe. A big differentiator with Samsung is DeX, or Desktop Experience. It's a software platform built into the device that extends your smartphone or tablet into a desktop computing experience. Pair your tablet or smartphone with a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard and a connected monitor to run a Windows-like experience or utilize a VDI platform like AWS, Citrix, or VMware, and reduce your technology costs in maintaining computer hardware and software licensing. I'm going to skip over the Samsung Knox and defense-grade security, as Valentine will cover this later in the presentation. Lastly, many organizations like yourself have implemented or are implementing field service management solutions. As companies look to increase operational efficiencies and customer service, Samsung's rugged portfolio can integrate with most field service solutions to capture signatures, automate field technician routing, enabling the employee to have the latest manuals to diagnose and repair and even collect mobile payments all from the tablet or smartphone. If you're interested in understanding how Samsung's mobile solutions could integrate with your current environment, please reach out to your Samsung or Insight account manager. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Lloyd for our second poll question.
Thanks, Kevin. A lot of great information there. All right, here we go. Where are you focusing your plans for technology investment in 2021? We'll give everyone just a moment. Are you investing in big data and predictive analytics, knowledge management, business systems such as CRM, BI, ERP, private LTE or 5G, CBRS, network operational systems, industrial automotive, mobility investment within your factory or field service? Take a moment if you would, and we will slide to the next slide to review the poll results. Go ahead, Kevin. Wow, 100% so far, so we'll give everybody a moment. Business systems. All right. Big investments happening in business systems. That makes sense. That's the foundation and backbone of the infrastructure of the organization. All right, I don't know if there's any other last-minute entries here, Kevin. I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Lloyd. Now, let's take a look at how mobility is enabling frontline employees within the manufacturing facilities inside its four walls on the plant floor. A report by Capgemini found that early adopters have already realized production gains of 20% in their smart factories. The report predicts much improved on-time delivery, productivity, and labor rates from smart factories by 2022. Regardless of where a company is on the smart factory journey, mobile technology is the key enabler of modernization. Smartphones and tablets are the conduits that connect staff to the applications that run the business and distribute intelligence and insight on the production floor. Cloud-based apps and analysis put the smart in smart factories, and mobile devices consolidate that intelligence in one platform that any employee can use with minimal training. I would like to show a short video of how Samsung utilizes mobility within our own facilities in Gumi, South Korea. This will provide you a real-life example of mobility in action. As a reminder, there is no sound during this video, however, there are captions. So you've just seen apologies, we're having technical difficulties. Guess what? We get to watch this video again. So you've just seen twice how technology is used in our manufacturing facilities. Industry 4.0 is the digital transformation of manufacturing that includes enhanced connectivity and convergence within the business, its partner ecosphere, and the supply chain. The smart factory is a production facility that pursues optimization through the use of digitization and connectivity. Today, your manufacturing personnel might still punch in and out using paper cards. You might often use paper work orders to decide which production jobs to tackle on any given day. Many workers are taking paper notes on quality issues or other problems that will need to be digitized at a later time. The machines themselves might be slated for regular maintenance on a predetermined schedule, which leads to an unnecessary disruptions in production and possible premature maintenance. Spare parts might be ordered in advance, or if not needed right away, tying up working capital. If machines fail, supervisors might need to manually sign off on purchase orders to facilitate repairs. Systems like these have worked for many years, but they are often inefficient and have tremendous potential to go wrong in costly ways. Companies looking for easy and early wins would be well advised to first make the switch to mobile devices for their task management needs. Rugged mobile devices are the front line for the gathering, processing, and analyzing of information. Utilizing the Samsung S Pen enables digital checklists and note-taking and liberates users from paper and clipboard. Let's review how the Samsung tablet and smartphone can be used throughout your manufacturing floor. As we work our way around the plant floor diagram, we can start at inventory management. Samsung partners with many of the largest independent software vendors, including IBM. Today, your manufacturing floor might utilize a separate piece of equipment, of hardware, for scanning that needs to be connected to a computer or other device to access the inventory management software. Utilizing Samsung's rugged portfolio of smartphones and tablets confers a number of benefits, including real-time inventory updates on the devices, GPS time stamping to track locations throughout the facility, that Samsung's S Pen, allowing workers to write on the tablet as they would on paper and capture crucial information, and also visual record keeping by documenting the condition of materials as they arrive at the facility or looping in an expert at another site to help diagnose a production line problem using augmented reality applications on the same device. As we navigate the new normal to ensure a healthy and safe environment, incorporating Samsung wearables to receive critical information of hardware failures, social distancing guidelines to ensure a healthy workforce, man-down alerts, and contact tracing. A recent example of Samsung wearables being utilized in a manufacturing environment was featured on CBS's 60 Minutes, where Ford Motor Company is utilizing wearables to change the behavior and enforce social distancing rules. Within 3 days, Ford saw a 50% drop in social distancing violations and continues to use the solution today in its plants. Another example is with Magna, that utilizes the wearables for real-time analytics on the production floor, leading to a 15% reduction in downtime and saving over $250,000 annually with an ROI in under 1 year. Paperless workflow allows production workers to punch in and out using a mobile tablet, request time off, and perform other administrative functions more conveniently. Plant managers can sign off on work orders or access task lists. Paperless task management is one of the cornerstones of smart factories because it eliminates clutter and repeat data entry. Gone are the worries of paper copies getting damaged on the plant floor and the potential for human error during manual data entry. Utilizing the same tablet, the manager doesn't have to travel to a desktop in the main office to file maintenance reports, answer emails, or manage other tasks. As mentioned earlier, pair your tablet or smartphone with a monitor, keyboard, and mouse and run a Windows-like environment or VDI directly from your device. Essentially, the mobile devices come to where the work is instead of the other way around with stationary devices. This solution increases speed and decreases data latency, both of which are KPIs in the smart factory. Mounting a removable tablet on a forklift or utilizing IIoT devices on machinery transforms the way you interact with your manufacturing equipment. Instead of relying on preventive maintenance, which does not squeeze out the maximum usable life from machines, and further maintenance chores can disrupt production more than necessary. The smart factory, aided by mobile devices, addresses these potential inefficiencies by gathering data from IIoT devices and triggering alarms when a predetermined threshold is exceeded. Predictive maintenance runs on machine learning algorithms built on baseline models for part failures, and the algorithm forecast grows increasingly accurate over time as new information about failures is inputted into existing models. Lastly, one area that impacts both field service, plant floor, and warehousing is barcode scanning. Whether you're scanning QR codes on machines to get run cycle information, barcodes on inventory or asset tracking, or inventory installation information in the field, Samsung has you covered with scanning solutions on our rugged portfolio of products. In listening to our customers, we've learned a significant pain point in moving away from legacy barcode scanning hardware is the complexity of data integration with legacy applications and systems of record. We have solved for this and other pain points with Nox Capture. Now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Valentine, to speak about the Knox software platform and our latest scanning solution, Nox Capture. Valentine, take it away.
Thank you, Kevin. As you've heard from my colleagues, I want to just take everyone through our Knox portfolio, just to give a level set of what we're doing to help our customers deploy our Samsung devices across your fleet within your environment easily, quickly, and effectively. Before I step into barcode scan. So starting from the left-hand side, we look at it in terms of three pillars. First, we want to make sure we secure your devices, and we certainly want to make sure it's very easy to deploy those devices, and we want to give you the tools necessary to manage those devices from anywhere across the globe in order to make sure you're scaling your apps effectively and you're getting the right solutions to the right individuals at the right time. Starting from the left-hand side, so it starts with our platform. So our devices do run on Android, but there's a secret sauce, if you will, that overlays on Android that gives our devices the most secure flavor of Android in the ecosystem. That flavor of Android allows Samsung devices to be customized. It allows Samsung devices to have unique tools that are key for the enterprise, whether it's being able to lock down these devices so that your workers are productive, whether it means being able to quickly stage these devices so that you can get devices on and off the shelf and into someone's hands for use rapidly. I'll now move into Knox Mobile Enrollment, which is our device enrollment program. The key of the enrollment program is to make it very easy for you to take a device off of the shelf, or if you will, from your purchase centers directly to your user or your worker to be able to stage your configuration. So out of the box, when someone turns on our devices, it's installing your preferred management tool. It's installing the apps that you need installed. It's installing any single sign-on configurations, lockdowns, right out of the box the moment that there's a connection. And then I'd like to talk about Knox Manage, which is our MDM/EMM tool and service that allows you to manage your devices and manage applications and tools and services to those devices. And then lastly, I want to talk about eFOTA, which is our firmware management system. The goal here is that we put firmware control into your hands so that, to avoid any disruptions or surprises that could arise from an unapproved firmware that could get released on those devices. You're typically used to on and off switches, but with our firmware solution, we give you full control to dictate when you want firmware to get released, if you want firmware to get released, and whether or not you want to force a security patch to cover a security vulnerability. So with that, I want to talk through Nox Capture, which is one of the solutions we're specifically creating for this space in order to give you the tools you need as we look at the shift in modern paradigm. So according to a recent report from International Design Conference, which stands for IDC, otherwise known as, IDC, barcoding is ranked as the number 3 most critical feature in choosing a rugged mobile device. We also found that single-purpose scanners often lack the capabilities that enterprises need for a wide range of digitized business workflows. Lastly, these category of handheld devices are quite expensive. So what if we told you there were modern solutions that can still help solve the same business problems? What if these modern solutions were cost-effective, lightweight, and multi-purpose, allowing your employees and your plant workers and field agents to be able to do more on a single device? Whether it's being able to scan inventory, being able to communicate over push-to-talk, being able to access email, all on one device, these are the different multi-purpose use cases that you can use on our devices because these are not single-purpose devices. So with that, I'd like to introduce Nox Capture, which is available for our rugged line of devices. So Nox Capture is Samsung's data capture solution for enterprise-grade scanning. It provides the performance and flexibility that businesses need to empower their frontline workers. It's a software solution that transforms the device's camera into a powerful scanner, combining a smartphone and a scanner into one device. Nox Capture is ready on day one. It's optimized for Samsung hardware, and it's quick and easy to use so that you can get on the ground and your workers can get on the ground and running. Being able to trigger scans using our programmable buttons. So majority of enterprises have to adapt their apps to leverage scanning solutions, which typically requires development effort. So you take a traditional scanner off the shelf, you scan today. There has to be an intelligence layer that scanner communicates with. Typically, that involves writing some type of development code to integrate those scanners. With Nox Capture, we eliminate that need for integration because it's introducing the concept of a wedge, which is essentially where the solution is available for you to use, and all you're doing within the capture solution is giving it directions and pointing to which apps you want it to scan into, which is great because out of the box you have a wedge solution that installs, and you basically configure it to take on scanning. Nox Capture includes advanced scanning controls that allow you to tailor the scans to unique business apps. So you have the control to say, out of the 26 symbologies which are supported, I want to scan, 15 of these symbologies, whether it's, UPC code, whether it's, depending on what barcode it is, whether it's PDF 14 or et cetera, to say, I want to scan this information in. Here are my applications that I need to accept those scans. At a click of a button, you have that available to you. And then lastly, I want to talk about how you can scale and deploy Nox Capture. Once your configurations are set and good to go, We rely on EMMs that you typically would have today that you're using to manage your environment, and you can scale those settings out quickly to your devices, whether it's one device that you're testing with or 5,000 devices that you want to roll out. So there you have it. That's Samsung Nox Capture for Frontline summarized. With that, I want to thank you and then hand it back over to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Valentine, for sharing that great information on Nox and Nox Capture. As we get ready to conclude this presentation, please submit any questions that you might have that you would like answered. Throughout this webinar, you've learned how Samsung is an expert in global manufacturing, providing open, innovative, and secure solutions to our business customers. Further, Samsung has a complete line of rugged devices for your manufacturing and field service needs. If you're interested in learning more, please contact your Insight or Samsung rep to schedule a comprehensive needs assessment with one of our manufacturing industry experts. I'll now turn it back to our moderator, Aaron, for any questions and answers that have come up.
Thank you, everyone. So we'll now move forward with our question and answer portion of the session today. Like Lloyd said, please feel free to utilize the Q&A widget at the bottom of your screen to submit any questions you might have. So team, the first question that we have for you is, can Nox Capture be added to existing Samsung devices, specifically Samsung Tab Active 2 or the new Tab Active 3 that is coming out?
Aaron, I'll take that one. So the answer to that is we're launching Nox Capture on the Xcover Pro and any future rugged devices that fall into our portfolios, including the Tab Active 3 and any other rugged devices in the future. We are considering, looking backwards into what we can do on previous rugged devices. But right now, we're looking at launch devices and any rugged devices that are coming in the future.
Great, thank you, Valentine. And then they also asked if Nox Capture can be used with mobile iron.
Yes, so Nox Capture at launch will be available on all major MDMs because of the way we've designed it to leverage OEM config, which is a standard methodology on all Android devices. So any majority of the EMMs have adopted OEM config, and that's the underlying architecture. So yes, it will be available on mobile iron and all major MDMs.
Great, thank you, Valentine. I believe this will be another question for yourself. You mentioned that Nox Capture is a data wedge. Would you be able to elaborate on what this is?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we look at just how our customers adopt or look at paperless workflow, especially from a scanning perspective, there are two ways that generally happens. You buy a traditional hardware device, a scanner device. In my opinion, that device is it's not as meaningful until it has an intelligence component to it. So if I buy a device off the shelf today and I press the button and I scan something, right? That scan goes, to the abyss today. It goes nowhere. There's nothing to take that input and put it to use. The enterprise then has to, develop an application that resides on that device or peripheral to consume that scan and make it meaningful, whether it's presenting information to the user, or it's taking that information and storing it to enterprise systems. So that it takes a level of development effort to get there today. The concept of a wedge, which is what Nox Capture is it's taking away that development component, right? Which obviously increases cost, it delays timeline, and there's obviously a maintenance aspect of developing code. So Capture comes in to remove all those hindrances and makes it easier for enterprises to deploy quickly by just setting configurations within the application, because Samsung has done all that development work and is exposing that in form of menu selections for the either the IT administrator in this example, or just the line of business, IT decision maker who just wants to configure some settings on the device. So that's what a wedge is, and that's what Nox Capture is, and that's how it's helping at the enterprise.
Great, thank you. And a few other questions for you guys. So is there a way to simplify enrolling devices into our MDM?
Yes. So I mentioned earlier with the Knox enrollment program, we've made it very, very easy for someone to take our devices out of unbox them, turn them on, and basically enforce an enterprise config right out of the box. So the way I like to describe it, if you recall in the Windows days, and I think that still occurs today, IT would take an image, they ghost that laptop in a way that it installs all the enterprise apps that have been pre-approved and establish an image on that laptop, so that the employee takes that laptop, and once they sign in, it starts to personalize that laptop. That's similar to what Knox Mobile Enrollment is for our devices, right? The configs are pre-set up. It's set up to establish the MDM. The MDM has associated policies, apps, and configurations, and KME is there to make sure that any device that gets turned on receives those configs, is enforced to those configs, so there's no way to exit. So you have the peace of mind that your policy sets will get installed, and MDM will start, will take control of those devices right out of the box.
Great, thank you, Valentine. And that concludes our Q&A session for today.
Thanks, Aaron. Great questions, great participation today. I want to thank you for investing your time to learn more about Samsung's manufacturing and field service solutions. We hope you found this webinar to be very informative. Again, please contact your Insight or Samsung rep to schedule a comprehensive needs analysis with one of our manufacturing industry experts. Thank you and enjoy your day.